Lightworkers Unite is a podcast and social show hosted by intuitive women, lightworkers, and most importantly, friends, Mayume and Manjeet. Welcome to our podcast, Lightworkers Unite, where we believe there is a lightworker within all of us.
Whether you are a medium, an educator, or a nuclear medicine technologist, there is a lightworker within you, and we have work to do.
This is a safe and sacred place where lightworkers connect, grow, and learn.
And share our light with the world. Hello!
I'm Angie. Happy Monday, my friend.
Happy Monday! I love Mondays with Mayume.
Mondays with Manjeet.
I love it.
I like that.
I love
Manjeet.
The Jeet.
So we didn't record last week because we, when it was, no, that wasn't President's Day last week, was it?
It was our winter break.
It was our
school district.
It was.
Yeah,
same. So we didn't meet, but we had already pre-recorded.
Yes.
So I just wanted to say, I know we chatted briefly, but I miss you when we don't.
Oh, I know.
It's our little connection on Mondays. Connection.
Oh, I feel the same way, my sister. Yeah, it is so fun. It's just kind of a fun way. And I think our light workers really like this too, is having safe places to decompress, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you're working in the light and we've got some really high vibe stuff coming through as a medium or a Reiki master or whatever it is that you're doing. You're really, it's just so nice to have this, like those people in your life that you can say, okay, let's just release some of that tension and stress, talk about things that are important to us, and then laugh our asses off.
Exactly. It's so true. Just kind of, you and me having these awesome conversations about fun topics and having people listen in.
Yeah, well, we think they're fun.
Yeah, well, I know. Well, we did kind of start off like, this is for us, and then whoever wants to join can join. So, but I was looking at our Podbean, and we are like 7,600 downloads.
Yes.
What the hell?
I know. Crazy. Season 2. I know. It's super fun. It's super. How do you feel about that? How do you feel?
I feel great. I think we're doing what we wanted to do. Again, we didn't start this to really reach the masses. It is what it is. And if it does on its own, great. But it's really just for whoever wants to join us in our little community tribes here. And I know we've got people from all over the place, but I think it's kind of magical to know that people are listening.
Yeah, I know. I love that. And every now and again, and we love it when our listeners give us any feedback and, so yes, please continue to do that. Send us little messages.
We haven't heard from you guys in a while. I would love some feedback on what they thought of our guest last week of Anthony Russell.
Oh, he's so awesome.
Our guest of February. Yeah, he was so fun.
Yeah, I have to say, like, just reflecting on it and then listening to doing the episode together and then reflecting on the episode. It's so lovely having connection with other light workers, right? To see their journey and how what their struggles have been and how I can't relate to being a gay man. Yeah. I have no idea.
New York City, right?
Yeah, I know. But I thought, oh my gosh, but intrinsically, the light worker within us is the same, so that was just so cool to see, like, hey, we're all really connected by this tether, this light, we're like a strobe light.
The disco ball, baby. That's why we have it.
I know. I love it.
The ball is source, and we are all the beams of light coming out of it. We're all one.
Yes. So check out that beautiful episode. And
you guys, he was fantastic. Super fun. So,
we have some really cool guests coming up too. So stay tuned for that. I'm so excited. They're so amazing.
This is going to be fun to do. So today is one of our mystical, magical topics, right? Mystical, mythical. I just love these so much. They're so crazy. So the topic is dun, da, da, da.
Magic.
We'll say that again. It cut out. Ready?
Oh,
dun, da, da, da.
Fairy magic. Oh my gosh. Yes, we're going to talk about fairies today. What the hell?
What the hell? And people are like, what the
I
actual
know.
F?
I know.
Fairies? But fairies have, I have lots of stuff to say about fairies and things. So, and you do too, because you have an upcoming circle, Intuitive
Yeah.
Women's Circle, and that's the topic. When is that? Is that
Yes.
this week or next week?
Yeah, it's actually next week. It's
Oh,
going to
good.
be
Okay.
yeah, we got a little bit of time here. It's next I'm going to get you the dates here. March 9th and 10th. So March 9th is 5:30 session. March 10th is a 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. So they're going to be a lot of fun. And that was, I know, like that's kind of how we pick our themes, right? You and I both, based on kind of our lens and our worlds and the people around us, you know, what they're kind of talking about, what they're really attracted to. And I know for me, I don't know. I didn't know a lot about fairies. That's actually one of the mythological beings or legends that I feel more disconnected with. And so I was kind of excited to really learn about them more and kind of bring some energy in that of the fairies into my life. So it's been really fun. I think you've had a lot of really cool experiences. I don't think I've had very many at all. So that's why I was like, this is going to be really fun to talk about and kind of
Mix it
see.
up a little bit. So I just realized, do you normally have your circles the second week in the month?
I do.
Because I just noticed where my sacred circle is also on the 9th. And I'm just like, what? They don't normally conflict.
Oh, no, but yours is later than mine. So they can still come to both.
Okay.
Either way.
Shoot, because we try not to do those at the same week, but
yeah, I had to move it down because it's my anniversary. It's my wedding anniversary on March 3rd. So I was and my beautiful Thursday. Melinda, marketing director, reminded me. So I was like, oh shit, I better move that.
That's exactly. Yeah. Oh, good.
So
okay.
all of our light workers can that week next week is going to be full of beautiful circles. We can have lots and lots of fun.
Yep. Yeah. And my circle is about body healing with Archangel Raphael. We're gonna bring him in and actually go within our bodies and see where healing needs to happen. So
oh my gosh, I love that. It's gonna be good. I love that.
Thank you. All right. Fairies. All right. So what are they? Who are they?
Yeah.
Them, and do they really, how about this? This is a real question. Do they really exist?
Oh God. Well, they're little aliens. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. It just seems like every fucking time we talk about these things, it's like an alien.
I know. Oh,
I know.
God,
but yeah, fairies, I don't know. Like, do you think they're real? I mean,
I've
a lot of
seen them. And I do. Yes, I do. I do believe it because it's so hard to explain, but I have seen them. And I've experienced my daughter has seen one. So it's kind of like, what the actual F again? It's kind of weird to say, yeah, I believe in fairies, where people, I know they don't. And I don't think they're always visible. I think they hide on purpose. I think sometimes they are like hard physically. This is going to sound really weird, where you could physically touch them and hold them and see them. But I also think they come in dimensions where they are also in a realm where you can see them, but they're not completely physically there, or they're more translucent. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Like an apparition.
Yes.
Okay.
That's how it's appeared to me and my daughter as well. But
wow.
But I've heard people seeing them physically. Anyway.
Tell us about that. Like where were you when you saw it? Like how, like, were you out in, I mean, I assume it's like you're out in the woods.
You would think.
So, right? I know, that's why I'm curious. Like, tell us about where did you see it?
Well, the one that I saw was in this house, and same with Amanda. So, I saw mine before well, I guess they were both born. So Melina and Amanda is before Dana was born, but I had babies. It was early on. It was
Wow.
in my bedroom and I was super tired and you'd think I was crazy with seeing this,
Oh,
but it was like almost like a Keebler elf. You know, the Keebler elves commercials?
yes. Oh my gosh,
Mhm.
that's hilarious.
And it was in the ceiling, kind of coming out of the light
Mm.
socket, the can. And I remember like rubbing my eyes and blinking because I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Oh
I
wow.
just stared and then I was afraid to like shift my eyes that I might lose it. So I was holding this gaze and just staring at this little tiny, well, I'm saying fairy or elf. I don't know. It was just
Mm.
probably, gosh, 6 inches tall. And the way it was coming out of the light fixture, it was like working, like do, 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 do. And then it saw me see it. And then it was like, you could tell it was like, oh my, it felt male to me. And he
Okay.
could see me seeing him. And then he was like looking around going, oh my God. And then he hurried and like went up back into the socket and like disappeared.
Oh
It was fucking
my
wild.
gosh. I
I
cannot even
know.
believe it. I don't know. I mean, like, were you scared? I think like,
No, I was
okay.
like slapping myself, like, am I hallucinating? Is this real? What just happened? But I was staring so hard to not let go of I didn't want to lose the sight. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just,
Interesting. I
I
love
know.
that. I'm so curious. Like I think I would love for people to share any stories of their
Mm,
if you know you have had a similar experience to Mayum about actually encountering a fairy and you know
yeah.
what that felt like, what did it look like, and how did it make you feel, and were you scared, and were you because I've heard kind of different stories of that, like people bumping into these entities, you know, in the forest or whatever,
Yes.
and
Good.
actually being a little bit afraid, like
Yeah.
nervous about them, that you know, or some feel really like connected, some feel really like uplifted,
Yeah.
but there's also some people that actually get,
Mischievous.
yeah, they get kind of scared and nervous,
Yeah.
which
Well,
you
they
know,
look foreign. I mean, they look other than the fairy books and the dreams and Tinkerbell of how people kind of portray fairies, but I hear they can be mischievous. And that was the one
yeah.
that Amanda saw, which was
Mm.
much bigger. And this was probably 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
In her windowsill, just like,
Oh,
and it was probably a foot tall. She said it was bigger.
wow.
And she definitely felt it was a fairy and it was a female and
Mm.
almost like she was mischievous and just kind of like hanging out like like don't mess with me kind of thing.
Mm.
The way she was sitting with her back up against the way Amanda describes it was she was sitting there with her legs out and kind of more relaxed and then
Mm.
kind of like almost like can you really see me kind of a thing.
Oh
Yeah, it was really
wow.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I just love that. I think I'd be so curious because I have never seen one. I don't think I've ever seen one.
Let's
Um,
ask them to reveal themselves
yeah, no,
when they come
exactly.
out.
I know I've been in the forest before where I'm walking and you're kind of like, you know, that forest bathing energy where you're kind of euphoric. You know, you feel
Yes.
really empowered and like just strong, you know, and you're in this energy of the forest. And there have been times when I've seen like orbs, like I feel like they're lights and they're kind of darting, you know, kind of in between the trees. And but I that's about as far as I've ever gone. And I just associate that with, you know, these mythological beings, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
as maybe fairy energy that maybe I'm just not
Oh,
really
yeah.
connected with actually seeing in that moment, or my understanding of them is so limited that I didn't see it for what it really was. You know what I
Right.
mean? So now
Right.
that I'm, you know, now that I've been researching this and now that I'm kind of we're in a hearing other people's stories, it's kind of fun to see, huh, you know, maybe that was a fairy, like, you know, these little orbs
Balls of
in
energy.
the,
Yeah. And to have them actually reveal themselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
So
And
that's
that's
kind of one of
interesting.
the things we're going to be doing in the circle is like talking about stories. Have you ever had anything like that happen, or what are your experiences with fairies, and or do you know somebody who
Mhm.
had an experience with fairies? Because they just seem so varied, so
I'm
interesting.
sure. Yeah. And there was a video. I think I've saved it because I watched it over and over and over, and you can't explain it. About the two kids. It's somewhere in the UK. I feel like it's English
Mm.
because they had a British accent,
Oh
and
yeah.
they were outside, and they're like, "What is that?" Right?
Hmm.
And then there was this fluttering, and they pause the video when it was flying, and it's like this little tiny human body with wings, and it's like this big,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's kind of wild in that you can't, like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
What do they
Yeah.
see?
Yeah, and I think that that's kind of the cool thing about all that too is, well, I think now we have better cameras. People have way more cameras
Uh-huh.
out. It's kind of like the alien thing. Like,
Yeah,
well,
right.
chances are we're going to be seeing a lot more of
Yeah.
that activity because we just have more access to high resolution, you know, computers and photographers, photography cameras. That's what I'm trying to say. Holy shit. We have access to, better
Yes.
cameras that can
Yeah.
actually maybe pick up on stuff like that. Because if
Mhm.
if a fairy is moving, look at what are we talking about? What the hell? If a fairy is moving very quickly, you would
Yes.
need a very high, resolution and fast shutter speed. I
Yes.
don't I don't even know if that makes sense, but you would need something to like be able to actually catch it, right? So, and I
Catch
think
it.
we're getting to that technology where we can actually do it. Now, I know um, in my research, I've found that there are lots of fakes. People have faked over many, many years images
Yes.
of fairies, and
Well, just
um,
like Bigfoot, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yep. Loch Ness,
So,
all that. Hmm.
just kind of understanding that these are legendary creatures, right? That are meant to have metaphysical or supernatural abilities. So maybe they
Yes.
just don't want to show up for us. Maybe they
No,
can cloak themselves like
I believe so. Well, like that one
Romulans.
that was kind of exposed that I could see, and then he didn't want me to see him because he disappeared after that.
Mm.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
I
yeah.
think so. Yeah. Cloak
Yeah.
themselves. That's interesting.
Yeah. Like Romulans.
Oh, what are those?
Oh, my God. They're in Star Trek.
Oh, like
Romulans,
what?
Klingons, they have cloaking capabilities.
Excuse me. Oh my gosh. Yes, right. That would
And
make sense.
yeah, and Predator. Remember the movie
Yes,
Predator,
exact.
right?
Of
That was so
course.
right.
That's my bestie Tracy's favorite movie.
Yes,
Like,
I
she's got
love
a
that.
badass t-shirt that she wears during our volleyball games. That's Predator. Ah. But
I love
yes,
her.
it is
Yeah.
cloaking. You're right. And they say that the fairy circles, right? You might come across where they create those. Is
Mm.
there another word for it? It's almost like a labyrinth, but it's a fairy circle
Oh.
that they kind of create with rocks and things in the magical place, but they don't like it. They love the children and the high innocent vibe that they give, right? Unconditional love
Mm.
and energy. But they definitely would prefer to not be seen by humans,
Mm.
or especially adult humans who might hurt them.
Ah, I love that. Well, maybe that's kind of where, like, historically, I was like doing my research. There, fairies have been known to like steal children, right? Like they steal them, but maybe they didn't steal them. Maybe the kids just loved them and went away with them,
Yeah, drew
you
them
know?
in. Yeah,
Yeah. But
kind of
it's,
in, like, yeah, the Spiderwick Chronicles. That's what happened, right?
oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right. They were
Yeah.
pixies or something, or I don't know.
Yeah. I
I
think
I,
that
I don't
they
mean to
did.
tangent, but
Yeah. I think the dad did get stolen though.
the dad got taken away. Yes, because
Yeah.
yes.
Right. Yeah. So look at us. What the hell?
Whatever.
These are my favorite episodes because I didn't know where the fuck we're going to end up. We're just like going, dear, dear, dear. But I think they are, I think historically, the word fairy, it's Latin and it means fate, which
Mm,
I love. I
I
love
love that.
that.
Yeah.
Right? I just love that that they're these mythological little mischievous, little beings that, you know, are all about fate. And what do you think that means? Like our fate or the fate of the
Fate,
forest?
that fate of the planet, fate of the
Yeah.
animals and creatures, because I really
Yeah.
feel like they are actually here for the animals. I don't
Oh.
necessarily think they're here for the humans. I think
Mm.
we showed up and we're here, and I think that's why they like the children, because the little
Mm.
humans are pure at heart and open and more of a bright light. But I think they're here to help with the earth, its
Mm.
plants, and its animals. But
Oh, I
I don't
love
know.
that.
That's my feeling. I don't know if it's right.
Yeah, no, I love that. It makes total sense. And I've never been a big animal person, like just because
Right.
I've always been a little scared of them, like,
Mhm.
and so I could see how I would not be as maybe connected to fairies in the
Yeah.
past, right? If
Yeah.
that's really the case. But I do love Mother Earth and I do love nature and all those things. But I am kind of connecting a lot more with animal energy. Obviously, since I have Wally, my little terrier
Yes.
who is my little savior, little my healer. And but that has totally changed my life. The fact that
Mhm.
I can connect with other dogs now. Like he's really helped me come over my fear
I
of dogs.
know.
That I just it's such a weird feeling. I feel like it does open up a whole nother part of me that maybe that is part of the fairy world, that folklore that comes from animal energy and harmony and
Yes.
building. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Huh.
And
Um,
more outside.
they were when I was reading, it said that it's historically Greek origins as the maidens of Greece, and they're related to nymphs, mermaids, and elementals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Elementals. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that
Um,
makes sense.
and they also were saying this was really interesting to me. It said there's various types of fairies that are in different cultures and religions. So it's like all over the world,
Yeah.
right? They're like in China and Japan, they have a very specific kind of fairy energy that pops about, right? And they have a different name for them, but they're also called leprechauns, goblins, elves, enchanters, fae, genies, gnomes, goblins, gremlins, hobs, mermaids, and then nymphs, like I said, and pixies. So they have like,
Pixies. Yes.
yeah, all these different names. Like I would never have
For
thought, like a mermaid would be a fairy, although I've seen mermaid images of with wings and in the
hmm
water,
hmm
right? So I don't know. Do you think they're all connected?
I kind of do. And as you were saying that, and all these fairy tales and folklore and myths and legends, and how about different parts of the globe that are
Mhm.
seeing different things, and like you said, related to the religion and their geography, where they're not back way a million years ago, they're not talking to each other, so
Mhm.
they're having these different experiences, and then they write about them, and then they start to share the writings and their experiences. So it doesn't surprise me at all that that they're all kind of intertwined and maybe fall under that category of fairies, like
Mhm.
gnomes and elves. And like I said, the fairy that I saw was really like a little elf.
Yeah, you said that
Weird.
earlier. That's why I was like, wow, this is really interesting. That,
Mhm.
there maybe that's like the big umbrella of the name of all of the different kinds,
Yeah.
that are
Yeah.
out and about.
I know, that are out and about. But I know it's so silly. People are like, this, I'm wondering how many listeners are turning us off going, I don't fucking believe in fairies. I'm sorry, ladies. But
Uh,
but why not? I mean, but why not? Like, just open your mind. Like, maybe there are these little smaller entities with wings that are helping the earth and the planet, the animals, and that have little purposes to connect with us here on this planet. Because there's
yeah.
so much we just don't know. And
Yeah.
I just think that it's been around for a long time. Again, something that's been around for a long time, that's been written about, spoken about, tales and talked about, stories shared, then it comes from somewhere. Someone had some kind of experience, told someone else, and then other people share their experiences, and that's how you get here. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. Like, yeah, that where I really saw that, or that was really weird, or,
Yes.
and I'm sure, maybe it is kind of like our spirits that come forward. Maybe it's that
Mhm.
same kind of energy. They'll come forward when we're ready to see them, or when they need to bring us guidance in some area. So maybe like your daughter was looking for some guidance or something. And so she found her, she manifested herself, or
Maybe
she just found her.
the way Amanda talks about it was like, I saw her, and I don't think, again, kind of the same thing for me. She didn't realize that Amanda could see her, that kind of energy.
Interesting.
And she said, this is going to sound, I almost wish she was here that I could confirm this. The way she was sitting was like she was all cool
Mm-hmm.
and collective, like her feet out and her knee up, and almost like she was smoking a cigarette and drinking a beer. That kind of feeling of like
Mm.
whatever, very chill and laid back. She wasn't smoking a cigarette or drinking a beer, but it was like that
Yeah, that kind
that
of
energy
energy.
of like whatever, I'm just hanging out. And
Yeah,
then but Amanda's feeling of her, she's like, I didn't like her. She felt mischievous.
yeah,
Yeah, she felt
yeah,
like she wasn't like a kind little fairy, wasn't,
yeah.
and she wasn't little, like a foot tall.
Wow. Yeah. Isn't that interesting that, that they do have this reputation of being kind of mischievous, a little sassy. And I honestly, I've done tarot for, oh my gosh, like probably 30 years now, right? Like since I've been in my 20s, I've been playing with tarot. And I still have this fairy deck.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, we would go on girls' weekends with my best friend, Tina, my beautiful, beautiful soul sister up in Canada right now. And she can attest to this. We would do tarot, and I would always bring my fairy deck with us. And I always was really nervous to play with them, that like to get guidance from fairies with tarot,
Fairies.
because they were so bitchy. They were so mean, like
Isn't,
almost
yeah.
like almost jarring, like like really like in your face, like what are you doing, like
Yeah. Right.
like that kind of energy. And so it was kind of a standing joke between Tina and I. It was like, okay, you got your big girl panties on, because we're
Here come
bringing
the
out the fairy
fairies.
deck,
Oh
they're
my
coming out.
God. Isn't that
And so
funny?
I know I've always had that relationship with them. Like they're just like, they don't hold back. They're like,
Nope.
okay, bitches,
Yeah.
let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Here is what you need to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's just very like that energy when I tap into like that fairy energy. So I just,
It's honest and true.
yeah, it feels like no holds barred, and
Yeah.
kind of
They don't,
brutal.
yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
little
No
brutal for
filter.
me.
It's,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like you said, jarring. It is. It's kind of this like, what are you doing? This is what you need to do. It's very honest, pure, and truth. And I think
Mhm.
that's maybe why they like the children, because they can kind of just say this is what's going on, this is what you have to do, and they
Oh,
accept
yeah.
it, as opposed to adults who would be like, I don't know, I don't think too much. It's so matter of fact.
Yeah. Yeah. So for this upcoming circle, I bought a new fairy deck, and
Mm,
I fucking love these cards,
love
ma'am.
it. Oh my God.
They're so great. They're just that same energy. So, in our circles, we do lots of discussion, and there's a meditation, and then I pull a card for each person after the meditation to kind of like ground their experience or whatever. And so I'm kind of like, oh my God, what are these fairies going to say? I don't know.
Oh,
I'm
I
nervous.
love it.
But yeah, they're so amazing. Like I just love
It's
that.
really cool energy. Yeah, it's different
Yeah,
energy. It's very different.
it is
It's
very different.
mhm. Um, so I don't know if you know that we had a fairy wall. This is, yeah, you don't know this because we had it painted over before you and I really, hung out and started to connect. But
Hmm.
for all of my girls' childhood years, we had a fairy wall painted in Amanda's room, the far room where Melina and Amanda shared
Oh,
when they were little.
interesting.
I've got beautiful pictures of it. This guy came in and did it all in one day. It was beautiful. A beautiful mountain hillside with a castle and two fairies. And I had always told the girls in all the stories, if you want to go to that realm, the fairy wall, ask to go there, just ask the fairies to take you.
Oh, wow.
And so, and when I did fairy parties for people, I put them in the auction every year at our school, and we'd have a group of girls, we'd wear wings, and we'd bake tiny little mini cakes and little
Oh my
mushroom,
gosh.
strawberry,
So no
marshmallow
wonder
stuff.
they came to visit you in your house.
Yes. Well, that's why I was saying in our
Oh,
house,
got it.
because the fairy wall, and then I invited them, not really knowing that I accidentally had this intention. Do you know what I'm saying? Because
Yes, yes.
I did have a beautiful shaman come in and said, there's a portal in between this
Uh-huh.
room. And I was like, ooh, that was the fairy wall that we had. And I told the girls, they'll come to you in your dreams and they'll take you to the land, and just trust them and work with them. But we did everything. I left little notes for them for years. We would go into the woods and leave gifts.
Gosh.
We, with 3 daughters, we talked about the fairies all the time, and they would write to them and giggle, and it was just really cool. So
Oh,
it doesn't surprise me that we could see them, especially Amanda. And then we had to actually close that portal because it
yes.
was allowing other things in.
Uh-oh.
And I was like, oh, when she started talking about, like, there's a portal there. And I said, oh, yeah. And when she said where it was, I go, oh, there was a fairy wall there that I used to set the intention of
Mm,
the fairies coming through.
yes. And
Yeah.
so what else was coming through? Like not
Oh,
so good stuff or
well, Amanda would start to see some different beings that were kind of scary. Yeah. Yeah. That scared
oh
her.
no.
And even and then, oh gosh, I don't even want to get in. And then she had spiders for a long time, that were giant, enormous spiders that were
Mm.
made up of spiders. Like if you looked closely at the spider's leg, it was enormous, covering the entire ceiling. And she looked at the leg and it was made up of little spiders. Yeah.
Oh my
Terrifying, right?
gosh. I that
Yeah.
is so that feels mythological.
Yeah.
Right? It
Yes,
feels like it's from that fairyland, doesn't it?
it is. Yeah.
That is so creepy
Yeah.
that portal brought in all that other stuff. So
Yeah.
maybe, yeah, I mean, having the portal might have been fine if we had said nothing else coming through, please. Thank you very much.
Well, right. And
But we
again,
don't,
it was pure and innocent. And did I
yeah,
really back then think I was doing that?
yeah.
No. Uh, it all makes sense now when we brought in that shaman. She's like, and so she helped us close it.
Oh,
But
wow.
it was, yeah, so interesting. I'm like, oh my God, the fairies. Like, we've been talking about them for a whole decade, this
Wow.
relationship with the fairies. Yeah.
See, that is so interesting. And it also brings up like a really great point. It kind of reminds me of like the Dark Worker episodes that we've had way in our first season
Yeah.
about, you know, like your intentions were really good, but being really, as light workers, being so mindful, really understanding that there are things that we just maybe don't understand, that we have to be very, very clear about setting an intention about what we're bringing in
Yeah.
and why and what the boundaries are with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Boundaries.
Yeah. I love that.
Yes.
Because, you don't realize. I think that was like beautiful what you said. Like it wasn't my intention to like open a portal into like some
Hell no.
mythological place that had spiders upon spiders. No, thank you.
Yeah. You can go back, please. Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah.
Just some weird shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you do have an intention to see fairies, like I think that's one of the things that I really want to do. And that's why this is such a fun conversation for me is how do I want to see the fairies? So maybe being very, very clear about when I want to see them and where where am I when I want them to come forward? And what do I want guidance for around them, with them.
Yeah.
So maybe just being really
asking them for
clear.
help. I like that actually. And I would say be outside more in their element.
I love it. Mm-hmm.
And I would say if they can reveal themselves, great. They, not to poo-poo this, they probably won't, but you could ask them to leave you something that they will do.
Wow.
That they will do. So leave me a little something, and maybe it's a rock or a formation of rocks or pebbles, or maybe it's a flower, maybe it's a feather. Like, so kind of asking them, can just, so if you are in my yard, thank you for taking care of my yard. Thank you for taking care of my flowers and playing with my animals, my dog and cats, and just saying so that for validation that you are indeed in my yard, leave me a little something, a little gift.
I love that. I'm totally going to do that.
Yeah.
Like what is the gift that you want to bring to me, to bring me closer to you, to closer to your world, right? Of wonderment. And they're meant to have like super natural power.
Yeah.
I mean, like, because even in the Tinkerbell series, because my girls were young enough to be immersed in that world, right? Both of us, obviously. Yep. And I remember like they could do some badass shit in that movie. Like they could Tinkerbell was like a serious like engineer. Like she could make stuff and, like change the world, like change things that were happening in Mother Nature, And so I just thought that was really interesting that even though they're, represented as these tiny little things, they do have this magnanimous power. Like, and they say like, the fairies also for the elements. And that's those are the ones that I'm actually really connected with are earth fairies and fire fairies, right? Wind fairies and water fairies. Like maybe those are more like the mermaid energy.
Yeah.
Right?
Interesting. I love it. Yeah. Well, I believe that they are to help with the balance of the planet. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
They're working hard to, what are their purpose? Like, why are they here? I think it's to bring balance.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah. And I'm just going to say it. We need it.
Yeah. No kidding. But it's interesting because I do they, I don't know. This is Mayume. This is my belief. I don't know that they live here. For me, I think they work here, and I think they come in and out of that portal or the dimension, and I think they're from a whole other place, but they come to the planet. They help this planet. They help us. They help the creatures and the animals for balance and work in that dimension. But that's why we can't see them, because I feel like that they come and go and when they're needed. But I don't think they like have little houses here and live here. Maybe they are. Maybe they stay for a little while they're working, but I believe that they come and go.
Yeah, that was interesting. You said that because I was going to ask you, where do you think they're from? And I agree with you. I don't think they're actually from here. I think they might be from a different dimension where, they're coming to help us, and serve us. And they're, maybe they're a little annoyed by us as well. That's why they're a little like, you stupid dumbasses. What the hell?
Yeah. Man? Yes. Look at what you're doing to your planet.
Yeah. What the hell, man? I've already fixed this shit. Why am I having to do this again? I got to bring them other team now. Oh my gosh, you humans suck.
I do. I think that's why they try to talk to our babies to reach that generation. Like, hey, come here, little one. Let me tell you something.
I love
that. This is in just kind of planting seeds. The pun is there, but of like, trying to help each generation.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like honor her, honor other Mother Earth, right? Honor the fact that we have, this beautiful sacred place that we just can't seem to like get out of our greed as humans. I think, and that it's weird because I've never actually really said it that way, but that's the energy that the fairies are saying, like, you greedy fuckers. Like, you're being so greedy and selfish that you're just not, it's not going to be in your best interest. And that's what I mean about their messaging. They just don't hold back. They're very raw. Yeah. Have you found that too with your, because I think you have a fairy deck too, don't you?
I do. Of course, this fairy deck is very light and fluffy and magical.
Oh, nice.
But it's kind of like, here's what the fairies suggest. They're telling you to do this and telling you to do that, and just kind of making you. Yeah, it is. It's and just from my interactions or seeing, it just feels like to me that they're they are like, don't fuck with the fairies. Don't mess with us. Just
Yes.
yes, we're these little tiny beings, but they're very powerful and they have a purpose, and that they are here to bring balance to the earth and the animals and the
Mm.
creatures. And I think we humans get in the way. That's what
Oh,
I don't think they're here for us per se. They're here for the planet.
yeah, I totally agree. And I love that you were saying like the connection with the animals, because I do think that they are more connected. And maybe that's what like animals are always, like looking into the forest, or either
Yeah.
they look like they're having conversations with nothing, or birds are chirping to nothing, or maybe they do have the ability to see them and we just don't.
We just don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
All the other
Interesting.
creatures too. I know it is interesting, right?
Yeah, I mean,
It is.
I'm intrigued because I never grew up with them, or I didn't. It wasn't like a thing that we spoke about in our family, ever. We talked
Well,
about ghosts
me
and
either.
yeah.
Same. We talked all kinds about ghosts and stuff, but you're right. It wasn't until actually my friend Cheryl, who I worked with for so many
Mhm.
years, who was very spiritual, kind of taught me, because I met her gosh, in my early 20s, and shared with her these things that I would see, or these
Mhm.
dreams that I would have. And she's the one who's like, well, the fairies. And I remember laughing, going, what? They're real? And she goes, and she was so matter of fact, like, yes, they're very real. Like there was
Oh,
no doubt, like, no, yeah, fairies are real. And so you can talk to them, and you can ask them to help you with your yard and all this stuff. And so it was kind of cool. And she had had experiences, I think, but she was like in Ireland or something like that, where I
oh,
guess
wow.
their leprechauns and fairies and all that stuff was very
Yeah.
relevant, and and had experiences with circle formations, rock formations that
Yeah.
fairies leave.
Oh, I love that. And I
Yeah.
would think, like Ireland is a lot kinder to their land, right? Too. I mean, that's an assumption, but you know, when you look at some of the pictures and imagery of Ireland, it seems really pristine and
Yeah.
clean. And, people actually really give a shit about their country, the
Yeah.
actual, the land itself. And historically, that's always been the case too. Whereas here it's like, hey, let's put another high riser up.
Yeah.
Let's knock that down. Okay, let's, let's go do that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
interesting that I would think you would be more connected, just like coming out into the forest here. Like I think Washington obviously does a great job because we're the Pacific Northwest. We've got the rainforest, you know, um,
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
the west of us here. Like I think if anyone is going to see them, we've got a really good,
I think so
some
too.
good energy here for
I think so
that.
too. But yeah, everyone, wherever you are, go in your backyard, when you go for a hike, ask the fairies to reveal themselves to you in whatever fashion they feel comfortable. And
Mhm.
maybe it is leaving you a little gift. Maybe it's something that's not normally seen. Maybe it's an acorn somewhere that's in front of you as you're walking in your line of vision, that's where there's no other acorns around. I mean, like, and then
Mhm.
wait for the sign. Just ask them and just see if you want to connect with the fairies in that way, with their energy. Yeah.
Oh, I
Kind of cool.
love that. You've said something very similar to that, like with spirit. When you want
Yeah.
to connect with spirit, ask very clearly, right? And ask for a sign or something
Yes.
to help you know that this is what it is. So that's really powerful to me, is that concept of just being really clear, being very, very mindful about the intention around connecting with the fairies and their
Yeah.
magic. Like, let me know.
Let me know if you're real fairies. I would love a little sign. So let me know that
Yes.
you can feel and hear me. I'm setting it out there, but something sweet and simple, please, just so that I acknowledge and honor you. That's kind of,
Mm,
so it comes from a place of honor and respect,
yeah.
because they
Yes.
demand respect. I
Yeah,
mean,
they
that's the,
do.
yeah, they do.
They are, yeah, they do. And they should, because they got lots of work to
It's so
do.
crazy. It's so crazy. Even
I love
talking
it.
about this is so I love it
I
too.
know. It's so fun. So if
Fun.
you're around next week and you want to join Mayum and I for our circles, please check out our website. Um, I know in our meditation, you're going to meet your fairy godmothers. So it's going to be a lot of
Oh, I
fun.
love that.
I know it was, yeah, it was
Yay.
a really cool channeled meditation. That was really, really fun. I was like, oh, okay.
Love it. Love
Here we
it. I love
go.
that
Here
so
we go,
much.
fairies. Let's
Oh,
do
that'll be
this.
amazing.
Oh,
All right, everyone. Well, thanks for listening to it. The fairy episode, everyone. I mean, here we are, right? Entering March and gosh, yeah. So
yeah, that's right.
Spring is coming. It's coming.
No,
Yes, finally. Get out of this rain.
I know
But
we've
I
had
love it. And I love you.
love you
And thank you
too.
so much.
Thank
This
you.
was
Thank you, my
super
sister.
fun.
Have
All
a
right, everyone.
great week, everybody. Namaste.
Oh, wait. We
What?
can't forget.
Oh,
We
yeah.
have to promote our next thing. We should have done this in the beginning, but you guys, we have our very last goddess gathering coming up
yes.
this month, March 18th, Friday night. Come join us in person. The Heathman Hotel in Kirkland. And the event is at 6:30 p.m. And you can sign up at my website or guidedgatherings.com and click the goddess link. It's for Manjeet and I. Lightworkers Unite is hosting, and we are doing this live and in person goddess gathering. Come spend a couple hours with us. 20 spots. 20. We will feed you your first glass beverage, whatever that may be, alcoholic or not, is on us. And then we'll have a no-host bar. But come and share some magic with us.
Yes, we miss our people. We miss seeing people in person. And we're really, really excited to channel Isis here and bring you all beautiful messages for rebirth and growth as we go into spring. Yeah. So join us. It's going to be fucking awesome.
Awesome.
Okay. I love you guys.
Okay. Love you guys. Bye.
Namaste.